President Biden just cannot escape the concerns about his age and mental acuity. And his stump speech in Virginia yesterday, well, it didn't help.
We'll teach Donald Trump a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
What?
Okay, do you have any ranch dressing?
Not with me. I'll find some.
Because that was a word salad homilicized. Now, former Obama official Van Jones is offering up this advice. Just hide.
If I were Biden, I would stay hidden. And I'll tell you why. He doesn't inspire confidence. And he's not a great messenger for himself. There's something wrong with this campaign where we're somehow expecting Joe Biden, who frankly hid during the last campaign, to come out now and be Flash Gordon and save his own campaign.
Okay, so you know he was with the Obama administration. So that's one. Here's another one. Biden's old pal from the Obama administration, David Axelrod.
I have said this many times. I think Joe Biden has done some really extraordinary things, and that history will shine on those. But his performance is a problem, and that is reflected in the polls. And what it translates into is an image of weakness. Whether that image is deserved or not, given all that he's dealt with, is a different question. But that is the reality. There is a sense that the world's out of control and he's not in command. And that is what Trump is going straight at.
You know, for the Obama people to be talking now, it makes me wonder whether or not Obama is looking at this and saying, hey, dude, you're messing with my legacy. We don't know because we haven't talked to him. Yeah, maybe you have, though.
I don't think there's a lot of love lost between David Axelrod and the current administration in terms of the Biden folks. But listen, you know, you're going to have two old men running against one another. We're going to have a replay of what we saw in 2020. And there's a lot of concerns, actually, that I've seen now recently with Donald Trump on the stuff.
You cannot compare the two.
Absolutely, we can. You know, last night he said he won New Hampshire in the general election. He lost it to Hillary Clinton. Lost it to Joe Biden by 7 points.
You
right?
cannot compare the two.
Haley, he mixed up Nikki Haley. He mixed up Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi for minutes on end in his speech and came back to it. So there are a lot of verbal miscues. There's a lot of gaffes between these two men.
Two-thirds of the American people think that President Biden is too old. They do not say that about Donald Trump. So you can say this, you can make this argument, you can spew the DNC talking points.
It's not as high as Joe Biden, but a majority of people feel the same way about Donald Trump.
Can I just point out one other thing, though? Because, I mean, I appreciate what both of you are saying, and they both point to the same thing. These two men are not the same. Their ages are not the same. Where they are in life is not the same, and we all age differently. And I don't think that comparing the two examples that you gave are quite the same thing as a president who said minor incursion and then Russia moves in, who stood in front of the flag-draped caskets of our dead Americans in Afghanistan after his botched withdrawal and looked at his watch. Those are different types of things.
On that watch.
You don't think he looked at his watch?
He didn't. No, he didn't.
What was he looking at?
He was looking down. He was in prayerful reflection and watching those caskets come off that plane. 100%.
With his arm in the air.
Absolutely. Or he was looking at potentially the bracelet or the watch that Bo had given him that he wears every single day. So I don't, you know.
Did you ask him?
You can say a lot of things about Joe Biden, but you can't question his commitment to the troops, having a son of his that served overseas. 100%.
Can't question.
No, you shouldn't.
They hit us over 100 times before we had any retaliation.
I wouldn't question Donald Trump's commitment to the troops either.
The location of his Secretary of Defense with whom he should have been speaking daily.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And it should be adjudicated, not just investigated.
If you can take up part of the hour, I think we can too with examples, and some of them do point to the fact that acuity is a question. And let's get back to that. Emily.
Yeah.
Right. So I just think a couple points are interesting after last night. So first of all, we talked about the media just now, and there's also a split in how the media covered Joe Biden's results, right? So we have in some headlines, Biden trounced that declaration. And then you contrast that with sort of the, well, Dean Phillips exceeded expectations. Now, it's really noteworthy that, yes, Biden got Biden won, but Dean Phillips, he scored 20%. And there was zero name recognition in the beginning. So you put that against the landscape that now we're hearing that a super pro-Biden PAC is reportedly spending $1 million for its creator program to enlist influencers to post pro-Biden messages on its social media, right? And that's trying to attract these younger voters. So I think what we're looking at here, when you combine it with the finding that 11% of New Hampshire primary voters straight up said they will not vote for Biden if he is the nominee, there's a lot of massive fissures. And we see now that the Biden campaign is struggling to or attempting to stopgap those with that $1 million infusion and the like. But the question remains, is the table set for a larger name to come in? Is the table set for a Democrat to come swooping in and say, Biden, I got this? Whose voice? Would it be Obama? Would it be, Axelrod and his cohorts? Whose voice is strong enough to say to Biden, step aside, step down, and make way for someone that will prove or represent an actual worthy foe to Trump? And I think
maybe some of those voices have already spoken. I mean, Dean Phillips told me on set in New Hampshire yesterday that he got started in the race 10 weeks ago. He said, Harris, I had no name recognition. Who knows if I'll get any votes? He got 20%. Now, it's a write-in campaign, but who doesn't know Joe Biden's name? He's been in politics for 50 years. So if you want to vote Democrat and that's your option and you're not quite sure who the other people are, you might write his name in. But as you pointed out, it wouldn't be the choice for at least 10 or 11% of those people. It's a conundrum. I don't know if $1 million is even enough to pull him over into the younger voter category. What about blacks and Hispanics? How much are they going to spend for that?
And I think to your point, the fact that many people came out for Dean Phillips means that people are looking for an alternative and they don't even know who he is. They were willing to put that down, not even knowing who he is.
Great point.
And let me just say, Kevin Wally, in all due respect, this is called projection. We know that age is a vulnerability for the president. We have fresh sound bites every single week. We could fill the entirety of this hour. Take me off. I'll go into the other room. We could fill the entirety of the hour with stumbles and fumbles and mishaps. And we knew the second that Donald Trump became the presumptive nominee, you guys would flip it and try to press age upon President Trump. But the problem is 2/3 of the American people say Biden is too old. He doesn't have mental acuity. And it's the exact converse when it comes to President Trump. People see a former strong executive. They'll make the decision ultimately. But, I mean, just good luck with the projection.
They will make that decision ultimately, comparing those two, certainly.
All right, we'll move forward. Democratic presidential challenger Dean Phillips, who I was just talking about, calling on his own party, saying that they are delusional for repeatedly attacking Trump voters.